Imagine sitting on a brand new airplane, trusting the world's most famous aviation company with your life. But what you don't know is that to save a few $1,000,000, the executives secretly installed a hidden piece of software that overrides the pilot's controls. When the plane suddenly dives toward the ground, the pilots fight for their lives, but the manual doesn't even mention the software exists. This isn't a nightmare. This is the terrifying true story of the Boeing 737 MAX, where corporate greed directly killed 346 innocent people. To understand how this catastrophic failure happened, we have to look at Boeing's biggest nightmare, their European rival, Airbus. In 2011, Airbus announced a highly fuel-efficient plane called the A320neo. Airlines loved it. Fearing they would lose billions of dollars in contracts, Boeing rushed to create a competitor. Instead of spending years building a new plane from scratch, they decided to simply strap massive, new engines onto their 50-year-old 737 model. They called it the 737 MAX. But there was a critical physics problem. Because the new engines were so large, they had to be placed higher up on the wings. This changed the aerodynamics of the plane, causing the nose of the aircraft to pitch dangerously upward during certain flights, which could lead to a deadly stall. Fixing this mechanically would take too much time. So, Boeing's engineers wrote a software fix called MCAS, Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. If a single sensor on the outside of the plane detected the nose was pointing too high, the MCAS software would automatically force the nose back down. Problem solved, right? Wrong. According to official U.S. congressional investigations, Boeing made a fatal, greed-driven decision. If they told airlines about this new MCAS system, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, would require all pilots to undergo expensive simulator training. That would cost airlines millions, and Boeing would lose sales. So, Boeing executives decided to keep MCAS a secret. They completely removed it from the pilot training manuals. The pilots flying the plane literally had no idea the software even existed. Tragedy struck in October 2018. Lion Air Flight 610 took off from Indonesia. A single, faulty sensor fed incorrect data to the computer, tricking the plane into thinking it was stalling. The secret MCAS software kicked in and forced the nose of the plane down. The pilots fought the controls desperately, pulling the nose back up, but the software overrode them again and again. Without knowing what system was attacking them, the plane plunged into the ocean, killing all 189 people on board. Instead of immediately grounding the planes worldwide, Boeing issued a vague warning. Just 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 experienced the exact same malfunction. 157 more lives were lost. Internal emails released during the investigation revealed a toxic corporate culture. Boeing employees were caught messaging each other, mocking the FAA, and one employee chillingly wrote, "Would you put your family on a MAX simulator-trained aircraft?" I wouldn't. The public outrage was massive, and the U.S. Justice Department finally stepped in. Following a grueling investigation, Boeing was federally charged with criminal conspiracy to defraud the United States government. To avoid a massive public trial, Boeing agreed to a settlement. They paid a staggering $2.5 billion in fines and compensation. This included $500 million for the families of the crash victims, and almost $2 billion paid out to the airlines that lost money when the planes were grounded. Boeing's CEO, Dennis Muhlenberg, was eventually fired. However, he walked away with a golden parachute, a massive payout of over $60 million. But here is the part that angered the world the most. Despite the cover-ups, the fake manuals, and the 346 deaths, not a single top Boeing executive was ever sent to prison. So, what must we learn from a tragedy where profit was prioritized over human life? Number 1. Beware of self-regulation. Investigations revealed that the government agency, the FAA, had effectively allowed Boeing to inspect and certify its own airplanes. When massive corporations are allowed to police themselves, safety always takes a back seat to money. As citizens, we must always demand strict, independent government oversight on products that involve human lives. Number 2. Single points of failure are deadly. The MCAS software relied on just one single sensor to make life or death decisions. In engineering, technology, and even personal finance, never rely on a single point of failure. Whether it's a backup system for an airplane, a backup plan for your business, or a second medical opinion, always demand redundancy. At the end of the day, this isn't just a story about software, lawsuits, or lost money. This is about 346 empty chairs at dinner tables around the world. These weren't just passengers. They were mothers, fathers, and children. They simply bought a ticket to go home or go on a vacation, fully trusting the company that built their plane. They paid for a safe flight, but corporate greed gave them a one-way ticket to a tragedy that could have easily been avoided. I want to ask you a difficult question. The US government fined Boeing $2.5 billion, but no top executives went to prison. Do you think corporate fines are enough? Or should executives face manslaughter charges when their decisions directly cause deaths? Tell me your honest thoughts in the comments below. If you believe the truth about this tragedy needs to be heard, please like the video. And if you know anyone who travels frequently, share this video with them. They deserve to know what happens behind closed doors. But if you thought covering up a software glitch was evil, wait until you see what happens when a pharmaceutical company legally sells an addictive painkiller, fully knowing it would create a deadly crisis. In our next video, we expose the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma, the business billionaires who triggered an epidemic that wiped out entire towns across America. This is a dark reality that has affected almost every American state. Subscribe the BizBusted channel so you don't miss this heartbreaking investigation. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.